What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. My name is Zach, and we're back for the 24-25 NFL predictions. And we are here with the Las Vegas Raiders Nonfiction's team. So I know he's going to be watching closely to see how I think his Raiders are going to do. He definitely hyped me up at the beginning of the year. I'm not going to lie. Like going into offseason, the new acquired defensive end is on the side of Max Crosby. It's going to be dangerous. We saw it in week one. But again, like I've said in previous videos, we're trying to act like we didn't watch week one. Right? We're trying to act like it wasn't there, even though it did happen. Now, going into week one, I did predict that the Raiders would win. Obviously, they did not. They lost 22-10. Gardner Minshew came out very scared. Definitely changed my tone and my idea about what this team is and how they're going to perform for the rest of the year, but I'm going to try to ignore it and just go off of what my initial thoughts were at the beginning of the season before week one. So week two, they go up against the Ravens. The Ravens are too big of an opponent for the Raiders to compete against. We're going Ravens at home, especially. Absolutely. Raiders will get their first win in week 3 versus the Carolina Panthers. I think the Carolina Panthers have another stinker year, man. I just don't think Bryce Young is it, and that's even before watching week 1. They bolstered up their offensive line. Sure. I mean, it's still Bryce Young. He's still smaller. Like, I don't think 1 year of changes is obviously going to make the big difference. They added Deontay Johnson from the Steelers, which I think is a good grab. But there's still so much more that needs to go on for the Panthers to be good again. Right now, I think you can buy tickets for $1.50 to their games. Just, yeah. Someone put up a sign to fire Tepper. He's a horrible owner. Week 4, they will face off against the Cleveland Browns at home, back-to-back home games at Allegiant Stadium. Can they get the back-to-back wins against the Browns? I definitely think it's possible. And if I didn't watch week 1's game, I probably would say yes here. But after watching week 1's game, I'm not feeling too great about it. But I'll stick with my guns of what I would have thought originally, and that was Raiders can beat the Browns. I think they'll be able to get pressure on Deshaun Watson. Hopefully they'll be able to contain the run. Offensively is where the Raiders are going to struggle like they will for most of the year, but hopefully they'll have enough pieces to be able to get a good one against them. Going into week 5, they're going to face off against the Denver Broncos. It's at home against the Broncos. It's still early in the season with Bo Nix. They're both kind of in the similar situation. I think the Raiders have a better wide receiver room than what the Broncos do. Defensively, I think they're kind of what and what. Run game, Broncos kind of get the edge, and there's kind of like a 50-50 draw here for me between these two teams. I say Broncos get the first one. On Sunday. Going into week 6, they're going to face off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, whoever's back there, I'm not sure. One is young and still can't read offenses. One is older, can read them, but is not making the right decisions with it anymore. It's a really confusing dynamic going on in Pittsburgh. I'm actually pretty confident that the Raiders can beat the Steelers this year. I still think it could flip either or. I think they're basically the same team record-wise, but I think the Raiders can beat the Steelers in week 6. Week 7 will face off against the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, give me Rams in this one for sure. Too much offensive firepower. Their offense is not going to be able to keep up with it. Now, if they can get to Stafford nonstop, then maybe, but there's just too many wide receivers that can get open in quick, short amounts of time to try and fizzle out what Max Crosby and the other side DN will be trying to do. All right, week 8, they play Kansas City Chiefs. We already did that prediction, so go ahead if you want to check out what my thoughts were on it. You can jump back to our previous video where we covered the Chiefs predictions. Week 9, they'll face off against the Bengals. I like Bengals at home. They should have their situations fixed up by then. Week 10 bye. Week 11 versus the Dolphins. We did that much earlier on. If you want to go and check that out, you can. Then on the 12th, week 12, they'll be facing off against the Denver Broncos, and they're going to get their sweet revenge against this Broncos team. Week 13, facing off against the Chiefs, and I'm pretty sure that this game is taking place in another country, and this was the reason why I gave the edge. I'll give that context clues to there. I could be wrong. I didn't look it up. But if it's in a different country, I feel like the Raiders, like to split with the Chiefs. They like to sneak one in or at least make the games competitive and fun, at least one of them. And we'll see what they can do in week 13. Not confident with it, but, sometimes you just got to throw one out there and see who catches it. Week 14, they'll face off against the Bucks. I think the Bucks are just really solid, man. I really do. As a Saints fan, I can't stand saying it, but I think they're very solid. Week 15 versus the Raiders on Monday Night Football, which we will be live for here on Real Fan Sports. We're live every Monday and Thursday night for NFL football, so make sure you come and check us out. I tell you what, I'm going to be rooting for the Raiders. I think the Falcons are likely the better team, but since I'll be rooting for the Raiders and not I'll be rooting for the Raiders, I'm going with the Raiders there. Week 16 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Jaguars go ahead and take that one. And then week 17 against my New Orleans Saints. Yeah, look, Derek Carr, I don't think he has no hate towards the Raiders or to the organization or anything like that, but I hope he comes out there with a fire, with a little bit of revenge for letting him go. Only time will tell. We're going to try and go live for this game as well. If we're not live, Non might be, or I might be at the game. I'm not sure yet. I haven't looked at ticket prices. And then week 18, they go up against the Chargers. And how'd I have them playing the Chargers earlier this year? I had the Chargers winning. I'm cool with them getting their revenge. I think they split with the Chargers this year. And it's the end of the season game. Is this a repeat of just a couple years ago? I think it could be. And looking at that, that's going to give the Las Vegas Raiders a 7-10 record, which I think is about where I probably would have them. I think they could possibly sneak out another 2, but I also could see that they could lose another 2. Their schedule is definitely not easy by any means. So let me know down below. Raiders fans, stand up. Let me know. Who's going to be the next quarterback? Is it O'Connell? Is it Minshew? Are y'all going to get someone in the draft? Do you want to trade and pick somebody up? What is it that the Raiders need in order to be back to successful ball play? Let me know in the comments, guys. Catch you on the next one. Cheers.